Tofu sucks. Today, you have me, and I have got 3 types of tofu, and we will figure out what is the best way to cook it. So I'm Katya, the vegan powerlifter with Plant Built Vegan Strong Team and coach in powerlifting and bodybuilding. And I like to eat super high protein because I train hard, I like to recover well, I like to be very full. Protein helps me be full, and I get this question all the time: where do you get your protein? Where do you get your protein? How do you cook it? So soy is one of the best sources of protein, probably the best source of protein for vegans. It does not cause any health concerns. There's no problems on estrogen and testosterone. I'll make another video about that. But today, we're not talking about that. Today, we're only talking about satisfying our taste buds and spending the least amount of time. I'm a lazy person. I don't like to spend a lot of time cooking. So we are going to cook tofu with only 5 ingredients that you see here. First, what tofu is the best tofu? What tofu tastes best? What tofu is the easiest to cook? What tofu has the most protein? I prefer super firm or extra firm, extra super duper firm tofu. Today I got 3 kinds. I got the organic super firm tofu from the soya. Got this at Food Lion. I also got this organic extra firm. So super firm and extra firm. We'll see what's the difference after I get it out of the pack. And I already prepared, slightly prepared, pre-prepped this tofu. It's still no seasoning, no nothing. But I ate half of it. That's why you see the bag that's open. This is Nature's Soy, which is my favorite brand. You can get this at the Asian store. Tofu that is, what is it? What does it say on the bag? Large pack, 12 pieces, firm. Okay, this one just says firm. It doesn't say extra, super, whatever. The Asian store has like a million types of tofu. My favorite kind is the 5 spice tofu that is pressed and like vacuum sealed. It doesn't go bad in like a day or 2. You can take it when you travel. It's already pressed. It's like smoked cheese from like Slavic countries. That's the texture. It's like just really firm. I also really like the smoky flavor. It's because I used to love the smoked cheese when I was a kid growing up. It was the cheese that was really cheap that they just made like this kielbasa worth of like cheese product, it was called. And they added a bunch of smoke flavor and salt, and to me it tasted good when I was a kid. So maybe reminiscing about that, I like the 5 spice tofu because it has a very similar consistency. Anyways, let's see. I'm going to unpack these and show you the difference in texture. Before you unpack any kind of tofu, make sure you get all your seasonings away and get some towels, because this stuff is going to, it's in water, right? Or it's in that liquid. I also have a tofu press. I'm not gonna use it right now because A, most people don't have it, and B, I don't know how to use it. I've used it like twice and I just broke the tofu with it. My boyfriend knows how to use it, but he's not here. He's the chef of the house, but I just eat normally. Today he's gonna come home and be like, what the hell? Why is there so much tofu prepared? Okay, so extra firm. We're gonna go from firm to extra firm to super firm. Okay, this is firm. Oh, you know what we can also do? So you can see that these are about the same size, and I'm gonna bring the camera over here and we're gonna weigh them so you can see which one weighs more. Alrighty, so you see all of my tofus laid out here on the towel in order. So we're going to go from super duper firm to extra firm to firm. This one doesn't really squeeze and the block is really heavy. This one, you see it breaks if I press it a little more. So I wouldn't press it too much. I can just wrap it in the towel and let it be. Or I can put maximum like a can or 2 per block like this. Not more, like no heavy books, no heavy pans, because otherwise it will just break. And then this one is super springy, super bouncy, and I have already pressed it. As you can see, the moisture is out. It's very light. Okay, Great. So here's our tofus. Let's weigh them. Zero the scale out. All right. The super firm tofu without the liquid, and I haven't pressed, right? But it's not gonna press anything if I try to press. Weighs 17.6 ounces. The extra firm, 17.2, and I can probably press like an ounce out of this. If I'm not lazy, I probably would. Well, let me just flip it and put it on like a fresh piece of towel. And then about the same amount of firm tofu only weighs 9.7 ounces. There's a moral of weighing the tofu. The moral is they look about the same in terms of size. So if you measure them by cups, you get completely different macros, right? 17.2 versus 9.2, that's how many ounces of a difference? It's 8 ounces of a difference. That's a lot. That's basically double. So by firm versus extra firm, this is so heavy, you're going to get double the macros because it has less water. I already pressed this in my special secret way that I'm about to tell you. So this will absorb more of my sauce, right? And this will absorb less of my sauce. This will absorb, I don't know how much of the sauce because I don't really buy this type. I just bought it for the video. So let's check the macros. Per 91 grams, it has 130 calories, 7 fats, 2 carbs, 14 protein. Amazing. And it's about 1/5 of this piece, they say. So per meal, I would probably I would probably eat half. So let's say I'll eat 2.5 of these servings, right? So I'm gonna get, 28 plus 7. That's a lot of protein. That's 35 grams of protein. That's excellent. Now, if I eat one of these, that's about the size that I would get per meal with rice. It has 90, so the serving is 1/3 of a piece. Now, what's a piece? Is a piece this? Or is a piece both of these? I don't know. Let's just go by weight. You never can mistake when going by weight. Serving size 3 ounces. Okay. So 91 grams. How many ounces? 91 grams. Why do some of them list grams and some of them list ounces? This is very annoying. Okay, 3 ounces, 90 calories, 4.5 fats, 3 carbs, 9 protein. Okay, I mean, still not bad. Can I get macros here, please? Okay, this is very similar. This is 90 calories per 3 ounces and 5 grams, 3 of fat, 3 grams of carbs, 8 grams of protein. Okay, sweet. So here's your macros, in case you were wondering. About the same for firm and extra firm, except, the huge exception, I've drained so much liquid out of this. This is gonna be lighter, so I'm gonna be able to eat more of this. And this is so firm, it's kind of like these two condensed, and the macros justify this math. Scale out, so I give you some grams, not like last time. Let's do an ounce. I don't know. Let's do 1.5 ounces. Why not? There's a shit ton of tofu. And I'm never gonna eat this garlic if I don't make the sauce out of it. Okay, ingredient number 1, 1.5 ounces of garlic. Ingredient number 2. How much soy sauce are we gonna put? I don't know. Let's bring it up to 5, so 3.5, I guess. 4 ounces of soy sauce, okay? I usually eyeball it, so this is like really weird measuring it using the food scale. Who measures soy sauce using the food scale? Okay, zero this out. And we're going to add 3 ounces of rice vinegar, and that's all you need. Garlic, soy sauce, and vinegar. If you want to spice it up a little bit, and if you're not cutting, you can add a little bit of sesame oil. I would probably not use it for the marinade. You can marinate with oil. I would probably like add a dash on each piece of tofu before cooking it if I'm going on a pan. But it's going to the air fryer, so adding a little bit of sesame oil is going to be wonderful in here. Some optional, really great ingredients: parsley flakes, onion powder, and some kind of like a smoky type of thing, or like I got a smoked chili powder. I might add liquid smoke. Liquid smoke is gonna be awesome. So let's do like a tablespoon of onion powder. Give it some texture. I've never actually blended the onions into this. I wonder if that is a good idea. What do you think? Have you done this? I'll add like, I don't know, a teaspoon, half a tablespoon of sesame oil. Parsley is probably not gonna blend well, but I just love it, so I'm gonna add it anyways. And I'm not gonna add the chili flakes or the smoky stuff. Let's just see how this comes out. First, let's see how this blends. I love this blender. Look, it took me like 5 seconds and it's already a puree. Okay, great. We're gonna let this chill, and now we can prep and cut our tofu, and I'm gonna stick it in the air fryer. Here's the time to cut the tofu. So while I'm cutting the tofu, I'm gonna tell you this secret tip about which I've been raving about this whole 20 minutes or 5 minutes. And you're like, what the hell? Tell me already how to make tofu delicious. And the secret tip is, before doing the combining of this marinade and the actual tofu, you are going to take your tofu and put this in the freezer. I would probably recommend opening this box. So if you get a box of tofu like this, or like this, open it, drain, like whatever the liquid is easily drainable. You don't need to press it. And so that it doesn't break, right, because of the liquid, so it doesn't break the tofu, so it doesn't break the bag and spill all over your freezer. Just open this, drain, and stick it in the freezer. That's it. That's all you need to do. I normally, when I buy this, because it's 12 blocks, I cook some like this without having frozen them. You know, it's still fine. I still like it, but I just like it better out of the freezer. I'll tell you why in a second. So I'll cook some normally because I'm hungry. I just did grocery shopping, whatever. The rest, I will let sit in the freezer until it freezes completely. So usually until next day, right? Next day, I take it out and I put it on the counter and I let it slowly defrost. I do not microwave it. I don't force anything. If I'm not gonna use it that day, if I'm gonna use it the day after, I'm going to stick it in the fridge. Why, you ask? Why do you need to freeze tofu? You need to freeze tofu because it completely changes texture, and because you can squeeze so much more water out of it, and now it is going to absorb your sauce. This basically becomes like a spongy little thing. I can, even if I want to, press a little bit more out of it now, and it's not going to break. If I try to do this with the non-frozen tofu that is firm, it's probably going to break. So I can gently press these even a tad more, and they're going to absorb all of your marinade. Now, here's the catch. If you have been cooking tofu, thinking, oh, okay, it doesn't absorb as much marinade, so I'm just gonna put a shit ton of soy sauce so it has at least some kind of flavor. And now you do the same with the frozen and defrosted and duly pressed tofu. You're going to be overwhelmed with flavor because it's going to absorb every drop of it. I promise you. Do not oversalt. Go easy on the amount of seasoning that you put. So I'm probably going to, I'm gonna definitely have to try my marinade. If it's too salty, I might add a little bit more vinegar in there. Makes sense, right? I pressed just a little bit more. Pressed these just a little bit more, 9.45 ounces. Okay, I don't remember if that, oh no. So I pressed all of these tofus just a little bit more, and let's see if I squeeze like another ounce of liquid out of them. 7.65. I think it was like 9.2 before. So you see, the liquid just gets out. Just be patient with it, okay? Thank you, scale. All right, let's cut our tofu. I don't cut it in any fancy ways. Just cut it in half, and then another half. And then that half, I cut into another half. You can do triangles. I really like triangles, but sometimes corners break. But I think this size is about fine. The more you cut it, the more like crunchy and yummy sauce-covered like sides you're gonna get. But for this one, it doesn't matter because the flavor is gonna go all the way to the middle. For this, it will matter because you will see after it's done, the flavor is going to go all the way around, but not to the middle. Alrighty, let's got our tofu. By the way, I want for you to tell me in the comments what is your favorite way to cook tofu. And maybe I will try it next time. Maybe there's a way that I don't know. The recipe for this with a couple more tips and tricks is actually on my blog. So it's totalbodylab.com/blog. You can go in there. It's not, I haven't developed the trick of freezing tofu. Of course, I read it somewhere. I don't remember where. In the vegan world, it's pretty widely used. But if you're a new vegan, or if you are not vegan, but your friends are vegan, you're like, fucking tofu, I cannot stand, it doesn't absorb anything, then maybe try this, okay? All right. Oh my goodness, this is so firm. I might cook only a little bit of this because if I cook all of this, there's gonna be so much tofu. It's gonna be so much tofu, y'all. Ugh. Cut them all in a similar way. I'm gonna throw them all in this container. Also, yeah, when you buy this, don't throw away the container because I don't know if you have Tupperware this big. I don't. I only have bowls, and I don't like putting square tofu into round bowls. Look at how those square pieces fit in this beautiful square bowl. Lovely. If it was round, the corners might break. Not so lovely. Okay. That's very garlicky. And very salty. Maybe I should have added some like sweetener, like some stevia type of thing, but guess I didn't. Right, our tofu is gonna marinate for like half an hour, and I'm gonna come back and stick it in the air fryer. See you in half an hour. Let's see if I can do this and not burn myself. Why do I use chopsticks for this? I don't have an answer. I really don't. I do not pack my air fryer very much with this. I'll show you in a second, but yeah, you want some room because you want for the tofu to crisp nicely. And as you can see, it's not very packed. And I'm going to stick it into the air fryer for about 7 minutes each side on 325. And if you're using a conventional oven, so at least 12 minutes per side on 325 to 350. It also depends on the size of your tofu bites. So like these, for example, you can see that they're kind of big, right? They're about the size, it's really hot. Is that one hot? Okay, it's not that hot. So they're about the size of my thumb, right? If you cut them smaller, you can use the air fryer for less time, and you can use the oven for less time. All right, my dear friend, the tofu is done, and you will be the judge of what looks better. I will be the judge of what tastes better. Okay, so first, let me show you the firm tofu. This is the one that I have frozen previously. You can see that the texture is still nice and spongy, and let's cut it. And I don't know if you can see, you'll be able to see, that the seasoning has gotten through like 3/4 of it. You can see that there's like a white corner, but the rest of it has been evenly soaked through with my soy sauce, garlic, and vinegar concoction. The texture is amazing. You have to freeze your tofu. If there's anything you'll take out of this video, it's freezing tofu, defrosting, and then marinating it. It will change your life. Okay. Firm tofu, one of them broke, but the rest of them look very good. Not as crispy as the other one, but that's just because I didn't hold it in there too long. I almost burned this one, but good job I didn't. So As you can see through this one that broke, the texture is pretty much the same, and inside it's white. I can taste the flavoring on the outside. I cannot taste it inside. It's really good. Super firm. So the extra firm tofu, as you can see, it's pretty much the same in texture. Very smooth, very not spongy, very thick and uniform. So see the difference. I'm going to hold them one next to the other. Firm, extra firm, super duper firm. Okay. So you see this one soaked through. I can taste that. This one flavor on the outside, this one flavor on the outside. And the difference between these is just the thickness. How thick is it? How much water is there versus how much tofu is there? That's all. This one feels lighter, this one feels denser, even though they weigh about the same. Yeah. The super duper firm, I think they pre-flavored it. I think this one has more salt in it. It tastes saltier, but it doesn't taste more like my seasoning, because my seasoning is very garlicky and very vinegary. It doesn't taste like that inside. So if you buy Nasoya super firm tofu from any grocery store, it exists in any grocery store. Food Lion, Harris Teeter, Trader Joe, doesn't matter. You will find it. Just be aware that it is kind of salty on the inside. This one is not. Which one looks better to you? Which one would you eat? Which one would you treat your friends and relatives? The firm, frozen, defrosted, marinated, the extra firm, or the super firm for super lots of protein and fat. Tofu is about half protein, half fat, more or less. Has a little bit of carbs, but not much. So if you compare macros, you can compare to like a fatty meat, right? Meat doesn't have any carbs. Neither does tofu pretty much. So to your meat eating friends, you can be like, it's about the same macros, just eat tofu, right? What do you think? All right, I've talked enough. My main tips are cutting it in smaller pieces if you want more crispy sides and more flavor, if you can get the flavor on the inside. But if you have time, if you have about 2 days to freeze it and defrost it, your flavor will be inside. And definitely make extra marinade, because your tofu will soak it up. That's it for this video. I hope you've learned something. If you want my ultimate tofu recipe that is kind of like what I did today, but with more tips and better, you can go to the link in the description and check it out. I hope you enjoy it. Like, subscribe, share with the tofu haters. I hope they learn a thing or two and maybe give it a go. And if you hate tofu, make sure to write that in the comments too. Peace.